We are back with another episode of Middle-Aged Mamas. The gang is not all here today. Camila caught COVID, so she's not with us today. But we have an awesome guest. Ashley Nicole is here. She is here to fill us in on all things hair and her journey and just her life in general as a new mom.
Yes.
She's not quite middle-aged yet. And I think we just scared the bejesus
For real.
with our middle-aged talk. But before we get into everything, Ashley, we need to start off with a little bit of I'm too old for this. Because I just realized I think I might be too old to wear sweaters. I had a sweater on for just 1 hour. I kid you not. Super cute with a little ruffle. I was feeling myself. But I just had to get out of it. I was so hot. What done? Why am I so hot just in the sweater?
Why are you calling on me?
Because you're the one that is usually hot. I'm
And you're
never
wearing a
hot.
sweater.
Yeah.
I'm usually the hot flash person.
Yes.
And I'm wearing a sweater. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to be holiday festive. I'm not too old for sweaters apparently. And I'm not having a hot flash today, but I typically am. And maybe it's because I'm getting over being sick.
What you got, Ashley?
It's gonna be bad. So for the last 2 weeks, we're on week number 2. My son, who is 2 years old, Roman.
So cute.
Thank you. His school is closed.
Oh.
Yes.
So I took off work because I'm the entrepreneur. You know,
Right.
my schedule's a little more flexible than my husband's, and I took off. And so we've been at it, you know, for 2 weeks.
You and the baby?
All day. Not at it in a bad way. Well, I've been doing the whole, mommy daycare. I haven't done this since he was a newborn. You know, I took off 6 months in the beginning, and then I took my foot back to work.
Yeah.
So over the last 2 weeks, there's been a huge developmental leap. He's saying all the words.
Yeah.
He's doing all the things. Today it was dinosaur. Roar.
Oh.
Yeah. The first 7 times it was cute. The 8th time, I'm like,
I'm too old for this.
And my husband and I, we shared the moment. Like, oh, this is one of those things. Like, oh, he's pretending. How fun.
Right.
And as much as I don't like to hand him a cell phone, I'm like, but look at Elmo. So, yeah, certainly, I'm too old.
Is he into that? Who's that lady, Miss Rachel? Is he into her?
I don't even know
As
who
much
you
good as
people
Miss
are.
Rachel does,
Uh-huh.
I'm not into her.
Oh, okay. She's like old school romper room where she's like, I see Johnny and I see this, and she talks like this, and she wears overalls and a headband. Yeah,
She's
but
a whole
she's
thing.
making-
She's fire. She's fire at what she does.
Yeah,
She's not welcome in my home.
that is funny.
Yeah, we don't introduce him to things that will annoy us.
Smart.
So there we go.
Right.
Oh, that is so smart. Yeah.
Right.
So
But
you
then
don't have a
other
lot
people
of
will.
noise making toys in your house?
No. He has a piano and he plays it, it's sometimes. But that's it.
Is it like terrible twos or like terrific twos?
Is there a middle ground? Sometimes it's really terrific and other times it's not.
Right. Is he active? Is he like a boy where he's running
my
and
baby.
sliding on the ground? And
He's very cautious.
okay.
So it ain't
So
too
he'll
much
check something out
sliding.
first.
Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
like I watched him, he just started getting out of his crib.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the
he
time.
didn't know I was in his bedroom, and I watched the way he got down. I was very curious, like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
And there were so many steps.
He was like, duh,
Oh, yeah.
duh,
Yeah,
duh,
no,
duh,
seriously.
duh, duh.
At one point, he threw like a roll of trash bags down, like the diaper bags that he threw those down. He's like, no, that ain't gonna work. Then he moved a chair. No, that ain't gonna work. Then he created a man-made ladder. I have this on video.
So
and
smart.
slowly climbed
Wow,
down.
they
So I'm like,
are so
okay,
smart.
yeah,
Oh,
that's your
he's
daddy,
smart.
because I would have jumped out of that thing.
He thought about it
He
first.
thought about it. So he's cautious.
Aw.
He's smart. He loves reading his little books.
Right.
He's everything.
That's so cute.
But that
Now, is
dinosaur
he
thing-
running into your room now that he can get out?
Well, he just started getting out.
Uh-huh.
And so over the last couple weeks, we just bring him into our room and let him sleep with us because we haven't decided what we're going to do yet.
Yeah, you
Like, we
gotta
could-
take the bed down.
Well, yeah, but like I'm terrified about him running around the house at night. Like, what's he
Yeah,
going to do?
Won't. He won't.
He'll just
Especially
stay.
if you say he's cautious. He won't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
What he'll do is he'll
yeah.
come into your bed and then you're gonna
come
walk
in.
him right back.
Okay.
And you gotta do that for like a week, consistently.
Because I have thought, like, we have to get the child-proof doorknob.
Yeah.
I have thoughts about him, like, walking to 7-Eleven. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the front door. You
I'm
definitely
terrified.
gotta secure that. In the middle. Well, my kids were sleepwalkers, so we 100%. When we went to Hawaii, one of our sons got up in the middle of the night, went out through the garage because we had left. I guess we were tired from the flight and everything. We left the garage door open and we rented like a villa, so it was a house.
Yeah.
Went through the garage, went to the next villa over, and was knocking on the door in the middle of the night.
How old was he?
10, I want to say.
He was like,
they just grew out of it. But when they were little, they would get up and like, I'm scaring you now even more.
No, it's fine. No, it's only scary because I was a sleepwalker when I was little, and I was terrible.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they say it's something about your brain development, and then as you mature and you become a teenager or adolescent, you outgrow it.
Yeah.
Supposedly. So far, we haven't had any other episodes. Now they're 13.
My last one that I remember, I was probably around 10 too.
You were a sleepwalker too?
I was, and we were in an apartment. We were on the second floor, and I remember, I guess we were watching TV or something, and my brothers were saying like, Dawn, where are you going? And they let me still like open the door because I guess I was communicating with them.
And it's kind of funny to watch too.
I imagine. But I did like open the door and walk out the door, but they did like kind of notice what was going on and grab me.
Oh my God.
Before I started walking down the stairs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now I don't walk in my sleep, but apparently I hit. I hit my husband.
Really?
Yeah. and
karate chop.
Yeah, I do. And so, but it's usually if I'm having a bad dream, and I'm like defending myself. Yeah, I'll be defending myself, like getting ready to push somebody or hit somebody, and he's there, so he gets it.
That's funny.
I never use it to like really get him. I thought about it.
To be like, I was just asleep.
I thought about it a couple of times, whacking him and saying I was just asleep, but I don't.
No, you know that I laugh in my sleep a lot.
That's right.
Yes, I do. I'll be having a dream and it's really funny, and I'm just like.
Wait, but why gotta be a ceiling like laugh? So feel like
all throaty.
He would get so freaked out because I would just be laughing out of nowhere. But now that I'm aware of it, I'll try to hold it in. So that's where the comes out, and then I'll just bust out laughing.
But what are you laughing at? Like
that's
what something
funny. And then
so nobody's like trying to chase you and kill you like they're doing me.
It's something funny.
They're like telling you jokes.
Funny because your dreams are manufactured by you. So essentially, you're laughing at yourself. You're making yourself laugh.
That's funny.
And I'm like scaring myself to death.
Yeah, exactly.
I am. That is hilarious. I know my daughter. Whenever we're when we travel and we're all like in one room or something, and we hear the snoring and the talking, my big girl is always apparently like in trouble in her sleep. And she'll be like, "It wasn't me!"
Oh, really?
Like
She
every
always
time
been in trouble.
somebody's accusing her of something.
That's
and
funny.
That is funny.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Sleep patterns are hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk all and a bunch about sleeping, but we got to get into Ashley because we do because Ashley is a very, very popular entrepreneur. She's not just a regular braider on Instagram. She's like the braider, creator of many different styles, very sought after, very hard to get appointments for. But the awesome thing about you, and I've gone through a lot of braiders myself and just having a daughter, your customer service is A+.
Thank you.
And just your personality, and when you show up to an appointment, she has trays and chargers, and she's just very thoughtful the way she runs her business. So we just want to start from the beginning and how you got into doing hair What did you do it as a child? How
Thank
did it
you.
happen?
I first want to say thank you for that part of it, because aside from all the other stuff, like that's what's important to me, is that when people are with me, they feel taken care of. I have 4 sisters. I am the product of a single mother. And I'm just about women, taking care of women and making sure we straight. That's second nature. It's not performative. It's not, let me be showy and, and get a lot of likes. It's not about that. So the fact that you got that from me is very important, and I appreciate it. So I was bald-headed all my life.
Really?
Legend has it, I permed my own hair when I was 2. I'm one of them.
What?
Oh,
When
yeah.
you're 2, you got you a box of
I got
Dark
into
and Lovely?
a box of Cream of Nature.
Yeah.
No Lie Relaxer. And I permed my hair. And so from there, it had been always like, you ever seen the episode of Martin, like Myra's Feet? That was my hair. Like it was always a task. What we gonna do with Ashley's hair?
Wow.
And so after a while, I was like, well, I'll just do it myself. If this is gonna be a task. I would go to African braiders, like that was a treat, right? For my mom to take me to get my hair braided. But when we didn't have time for that, I had to figure out what to do. So my mom would go to the store and get me a couple bags of braiding hair, and I made it do what it do.
Really?
Yeah, so this is like 9 or 10 years old. And then when I was in 8th grade, I had a teacher who would ask me, like, who's doing your braids? I'm like, me. She said, well, can you do mine? And so she took me to her house, and I started braiding her hair, and she referred me to some other teachers, and I started doing their hair. And then the girls in the school found out, and I started doing their hair and their parents' hair. And I started a whole business. I made flyers, and I started doing hair at my house. And then I would go into other people's homes and braid their hair, and it became a bit of escapism for me, because I got to see so many different ways of living outside of the way that we lived in my own home. Not that it was like traumatic, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like nothing crazy going on,
but exposure.
Just exposure. Like my best friend in the world is a Ghanaian girl, so I got to take in all their culture, and I got to see what a 2-parent home looked like and how that functioned. And I'm in a house of all girls, so I got to go see how people experience brothers, and so I learned a lot through being able to do hair.
That is fascinating.
Thank you.
And you're originally from Atlanta?
From Decatur, yes.
Okay, and then what made you come to LA? Because when I met you, I feel like, and you've already called me out several times on Instagram, because I found Ashley on Instagram just scrolling, because that's when Fox Locks first came out. Everybody was calling them Fox Locks because it's FAUX instead of faux locks.
Because the AU makes O.
So I remember telling Camila, hi Camila, you'll be listening to this.
Hey Camila.
I'm like, I want to get those Fox Locks. Help me find somebody. She's like, look on Instagram. So I started following Ashley and just looking at her work. Just beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you.
So I feel like you had just come to LA.
Very interesting story.
Very quickly when I found you had just gotten here. And going back, I always, in her comments, when she started blowing up, would be like, I remember when you came over and I dropped you off at home and you would tell me your dreams, and now you're with, like, every time she posted something, here I am.
Every time.
She was like, Nakia.
Because Nakia be like, I remember you was on that corner running 2 niggas together.
Proud of her, but I stopped.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. I came here initially in 2011. Everybody has that story where they come here and fail, and it was just like an extended vacation. So I had that journey. Went back to Atlanta. Tried to make it work in the corporate world, and it just wasn't for me. Very long story short, ended up coming back out here with hopes to be a comedy writer.
Oh.
Yes, I came here to write, but one of my homegirls was like, you can do hair. You should do hair to make some money. And so I had a hair page. I've always had a hair page. I've always done hair as a side hustle. And a side hustle sometimes full time. That's just how we do. And so I changed all my hashtags on my page to like whatever city I could think of. I didn't know where I was. I was like Long Beach braider, Van Nuys braider, also Malibu braider.
You did say Van Nuys. That's why I was like, oh, she's around the corner.
I'm like, it's all relative because in Atlanta, if something's like 2 cities away. It's still driving distance. I didn't know, like, it's 3 hours away in this traffic.
In traffic, right.
So I'm attracting everybody.
2 hours.
I'm out here. I'm outside. And I had an actress DM me my second day here because I had changed my hashtags. I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I had no shop to work at. I hustled and found a salon to work out of. She ain't know. And I had her in the shop. Wow. And from that day forward, it just hadn't been hard. Like, to get, I just never stopped. I worked all day. Sometimes I worked overnight. I just had to get it. Like, that was how I made my money, you know. And now we're here.
And did that one actress then, like, word of mouth from her, bring
she was
on
so kind,
more?
So kind, and still is very kind to me. And yeah, she invited me to a cookout, and she was like, by the way, everybody, this the girl that did my hair. And from, y'all know how it is out here. Black people, we stick together, and it's like, that's what we going to? All right, that's what we going to do. And so it just kept going from there, and it's been word of mouth more than it has been online, surprisingly.
Wow.
Just kind people, good people.
Yeah. But also your experience with you. You're funny, and now I see, because you said you came out to be a comedy writer, but it's fun. You just sit there and talking, and you feel like it's your girlfriend, and by the time you realize that you're finished, and you look fabulous. Yeah. So it's partly that experience. The last time I got faux locks, I found another person on Instagram. And I think I reached out to you trying to get a touch up from that person.
And I'm like, girl, I'm not going to work behind.
She politely was like, I don't do that. But let me tell you, Ashley, it was a mystery hunt going to this woman's house. She was like, okay, you book your appointment, and then I'm going to send you the address 2 hours before the appointment, and then I'm going to send you the hair you get 3 weeks. I'm telling you, there are crazy folks out here sending you on all kind of scavenger hunts
to get your hair done. And you know what? That's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't take people down. That's not what I do. But I do like identifying a scam. You know what I mean? So I can go through somebody's book and I can see, are they passionate about this, or are they doing it for the money? Are they going to do this aggressively for a few years and then tap out? You know what I mean? Do they really care about these people's hair, or do they want to be popular? Because during the pandemic, I'm not sure if y'all noticed, but I know as a hairstylist, I noticed there were a lot of people that jumped into the braiding industry and the protective style industry because it was easy to learn. There are a lot of places where you don't need licensing to do it. And they saw it was quick money. So there are some people that hopped in. They were very aggressive, very popular. And then they pivoted. And now they're in they're selling real estate. They're doing taxis. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to be careful when you're looking for someone to do your hair to make sure they're actually passionate about the industry.
Yeah. No, she was passionate. She was overly passionate. She's like, my books are full, but I'm going to give you these little tips on how to get my appointment. And then, it was crazy. I was like, but when I got there, it was fine. And she did a beautiful job. But just the lead up to it, I was like,
it
really?
was so dramatic. I remember you telling me the process. I was like, really? And I was worried too. Like, this sounds like a scam. Like, and it was in the hood somewhere. And I was like, what?
The best hair is in the hood.
Of course. But when you taking me on a scavenger hunt
to get there,
and then I'm gonna end up in the hood too.
Yeah, and then text me when you're downstairs.
Yeah, like
she didn't give the apartment number until you got downstairs.
Look, it sounds like she been scammed.
And if you're 5 minutes late, your appointment was canceled. Like, you had to be in the chair at 8 o'clock exactly, or the appointment would be canceled.
You know, we learn communication skills over time. You know what I mean? Because in the beginning, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Things have to happen for you in order for you to kind of edit the way you do business.
Right.
So
very true.
It sounds like she's been like, I don't know, hit over the head. I don't know.
But I said all that to say, even though you've, risen to such a high level, you still treat everybody the same.
I appreciate
with great, communication and community service. What the heck am I talking about?
Well, customer service.
Customer service.
Yeah, because I think we probably all had just like some crazy braider story, especially going to people's houses, leaving like the boyfriend calling, they're cursing each other out on the phone. Then she got to go leave and leave you there, like in her house somewhere. Or somebody washed my hair in their tub because the sink went out. Like there were just so many traumatic experiences. And then once, this one woman was at my house, and she was taking so long that she had to spend the night at my house. And it was just...
Not spend the night.
She did.
Not spend the night bag.
She had
That's she brought her spend the night bag.
She didn't even bring a bag. She rode the bus and the bike.
Why were there two modes of transportation?
Because she put her bike on the bus.
On the bike rack.
On the rack. And so
that's not funny.
It had gotten so late that she wasn't trying to take her bike, and I wasn't trying to put her bike on my car. This was like back when I was like single, no kids.
Okay, I have a couple follow-up questions. Let's get to let's get through this, and then we'll...
And she lived in the Valley, and I was in LA, so that was gonna be a long
trek.
That was gonna be a long trek.
So you let her spend?
I let her spend the night on my couch. What was I gonna do?
It's so bad when you get to a point where you just gotta get your hair done. You just gotta be right, no matter what.
Okay. Let's walk this down. Was she a friend of the family?
No.
All right, so we're going with complete stranger.
No.
All right.
She was a complete stranger.
She was a stranger. She was one of my... Okay, so this was back when you talk about like students, teachers, all this stuff, right? So she was either like one of my... Could have been one of my students, or like, I think maybe I was working in a group home at the time. And this chick had gotten her hair done. Somebody
a friend of a friend.
Somebody referred her to me,
mm-hmm.
and they had gotten their hair done, and I really liked the way she did it.
Okay.
So, but this is my first time ever meeting this woman.
Okay. So we're there. Was there an option for you to commute to her place?
No, I don't think so. And I'm imagining it was probably janky.
Okay. So, so she got on her posse. She rode to the bus stop.
She put her.
But did she do a good job?
She traveled to you. Did you feed her?
I don't even recall.
Because at this point you're running a braid.
I know.
This braid.
I imagine we probably had some advertisements.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
But I think things we go through.
Yeah, no, I think the craziest, I promise this will be the last break story. The craziest one, and Abby, to this day, this woman came over here and was like, "Can I bring my kid?" I'm always like, "Of course you can bring your kid." I have a bunch of kids. They'll entertain each other, whatever.
Right.
She comes here with a teenager. Then she had two foster kids.
Oh, I remember this
One
story.
of them was blind. And one of them was like in a chair, and the teenager had to entertain the one because he had to see his face, and if he moved, then the baby would start screaming. So we were like, what is going... It was like a circus in here. Then my kids were all curious about the blind baby. So guy was like 9. He was holding the baby, and he was like... he was doing all this. I was like, what? I said, what is going on in here? But we made it through, and Abby's hair was beautiful. I think that's my craziest story.
It better have been beautiful.
With 3 kids.
It better.
I am not getting involved in that.
It better.
That's my craziest story.
It better have been beautiful.
Yeah, but other than that, everybody else has been wonderful.
The problem with
hilarious.
Y'all not gonna make me, because y'all know I got questions.
No.
And I'm not going there. You know where I'm going?
I just opened the door. You just have to make it work. When you want your hair done, you just want it done. And you're just like, I already done took my weave out. I can't cancel. What are we going to do?
Did you feed the children?
Right. Yes. See? I always order pizza. We took care of them. It was fine. It was just funny. Like, 3 different types of kids.
Unlike me, I'm not feed people because...
Well, you always feed people.
Here's the thing. I didn't know it was gonna go on for that long. So I wasn't even prepared to feed myself because I'm thinking like clearly, and the reason it took so long was because there were, and this was back in the day with like the human hair.
Oh,
so
the micros.
The mic. So you just braid it to the length of your hair and then it's out curly. I didn't want like a big head full of braids.
Right.
I wanted the same thing that whomever the person was that referred me. She didn't have a lot of braids. She was able to like put it up, put it in that nice little bun, have a cute little curly fall. I look like Diana Ross. I looked like Diana Ross, and I love me some Diana Ross big hair.
But she won't
listen,
look like her.
I love me some Diana Ross big hair. Come on now. But the reason you was at my house for 12 hours instead of 6 was because you was doing Diana. I didn't ask for Diana. I didn't ask for Diana because Unique or whoever the person was that referred me to you, she didn't have Diana.
You know what? This is actually very triggering. Because,
she did.
Because
Not Diana.
Not Diana. We love Diana.
We do.
But
not when she got to spend the night.
Not when she got to get the braids in.
And I think she might have run out of hair too. That was another stop we had to make. We had to.
Isn't that the worst? And
I had to drive her to a beauty supply to get some more hair.
Come on now.
I did.
That always happens. Not anymore though. Everybody is, I'm like sweaty and crying.
It's the worst, especially when it's like 8:01 p.m. and the store just closed.
Right.
And they run out of hair.
And she got her bike, so she can't go. I had to like drive us both.
Y'all not gonna give me him back.
And then you had to make small talk.
Right.
So you like cheese?
You had to chit chat on the way.
You want some Carl's Jr.?
Were you really mad?
I was so upset. I was so upset.
Okay.
But that's not the worst. So the worst for me. So now I do my braids. My daughters and I will all do each other's hair because I've had so many like traumatizing experiences, and because I'm old, my hair is thinning. Like with each baby, my hair will get thinner and thinner. So I have like a whole story. She's having one of like her dreams where she laughs.
She has like
having
laughing
No, I'm getting some paper towel. Keep talking.
She's having a moment.
Oh, I love that.
So because of that, I've been as much as possible do my own hair. Like when you were saying the pandemic, like other people,
Right.
we weren't going anywhere. Like we weren't going out finding all these new braiders. We were at home,
learning how to do it.
My daughters and I perfecting our stuff. So I lived in Phoenix for a long time, and it's hard to find people when you have such a small Black population. So
right.
when you do find somebody, you are really
Keep going.
you were like laugh crying.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Go.
So I found these Africans, and again, it was like I had this mom group. The one girl, she was like, "Go here, go here, go here." Everybody in this mom group is going to this
right.
African braider. This woman was so good. Like those Africans do not play. There would be 3 of them in your head at one time, and one of them had a baby on her back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's how they did it back in the day.
It, right? So I had this one. She was so gentle. Like I would say, I have, my thin area, like be sensitive and da. She was so sensitive. Like she was so good and was able to like cover it the way I needed her to. She was so good. So one day, but then she started getting busy. Like everybody found her. So I went in there. One of her little helpers was doing my hair. So I kept, I'm imagining like once people start going
wincing
like
and stuff.
When they start doing like that, is that a sign to you?
No, see, it is a sign.
Or
it's a sign.
are you just thinking people are being dramatic?
No, it's a sign.
Okay.
But also because I have a toddler, I'm like, use your words. Say it's too tight.
See,
like don't keep.
See, okay, so I didn't use my words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use your words.
You're. That's so right.
Okay.
That's so right, and thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that because oftentimes in situations I do not use my words. And that's why I ended up looking like Diana Ross that night. I should have been like,
scared to say.
I should have been
or why is it that we are nervous to get up and go look at it? Like when it's bathroom time, you're like, let me go see real quick.
Well, that's what happens.
And to say like, no, this isn't.
Over time, you learn how to communicate with your clients. So now, when my clients come in, I'm like, I have so many mirrors around here. There's also a mirror in the bathroom. If you see something going the wrong way, please stop me and let's correct it here. While I have time. This time is allotted for you. Let's correct it today.
Oh, that's
good.
Because you have to make people feel comfortable. A lot of people are just
and
not
so
used to
and so
up.
they'll want to come back, right?
Well, not even so they'll want to come back, just so they leave feeling confident and cute and not like questioning how they spent their hard-earned money. You know what I mean?
And not talking about you on the street. So
or on the Twitters.
Right. Right.
Or the Reddit or the Lipstick Alley.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Mm-hmm. See, we're too old.
We're too
old to know all the platforms.
Alleys.
Did the young girl say? Okay, so with that situation, I'm doing all this, being dramatic, like putting my finger up there, like holding it down. So then I did. I had to go to the bathroom. My entire scalp was like puckered, like it was so tight. And I was like, this is. I said, all my hair is gonna fall out. This is not okay. Like this is so painful. This is killing me, and this is so tight. Da 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 da. And so, what did she say to me? Why didn't you say anything?
You like, but I was...
Exactly. I'm like, like I'm making all these silly noises instead of just saying, ow. Because, again, I couldn't see. I knew that it hurt, and I thought maybe she's just a tight braider or heavy-handed or whatever all that stuff is that we used to say back in the day. I didn't realize what it actually looked like.
Right.
I didn't realize my whole scalp was like snatched up and popping out of my head like that. So she did. She did take that. I told her, you got to take all that out and redo it. And she did. But I was very nervous to even say so because I've been there before when customers have not been happy and they start talking in French about them,
Yeah.
and that it's not going to be pleasant for you. But she did correct it. But I didn't go back because my one favorite person was so busy that she would kind of hand you off to other people. And then I just didn't trust. Like I have my hair is never anything that I thought was going to be an issue. Like once I started having babies, so we can scare you again. I don't know if you're gonna have more.
Oh,
but with each
tell me more.
With each child, my hair got thinner and thinner, and it would come back. Like after the first, I have 3 children. After the girls, it would come back, but like after my son, it just didn't. It didn't come back. And so I'm very sensitive about it, and I'm very selective and apprehensive about trying new people, and because I'm not only, I don't want them to mess me up anymore, but I also, it's just embarrassing, and I want to be able to put my vanity aside, and I want to be, and it was just something that I never thought that I would experience, especially at such a young age. I had my last baby probably when you were having your first baby at 35, and so from there on, I would go to all these doctors and I'd buy all the stuff off the internet, and it's saying, oh, this will do this or this, or just take some shots or just take some pills or just do, and nothing ever helped. It never came back. And so wanting to know that I can trust someone not to mess me up even more, or just not to make me feel bad about it, or give me some false hope or promise is something that has been a challenge. A challenge for me in middle age.
I have gone through something similar. where I never thought about my hair because I could always braid my hair. Worst case scenario, I can just braid it. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, after I had my son, and then when he was about 8 months, the entire house caught COVID. And so after I had COVID, I started developing breathing issues. And I'm like, oh, this is, the COVID thing. This is what happens. Well, it turns out I had Graves' disease.
Oh.
And I did not know it. And it was undiagnosed. And it explained all the complications I had during my pregnancy. My baby was 4 pounds. It was just a lot. All this time, I had an overactive thyroid, which means that if I'm standing still, it felt like I was on a treadmill. That's how fast my heart was beating, how fast my metabolism was going. I lost 40 pounds in the span of like 3 months.
Yeah, that hypo.
I was hyper.
Oh, hyper.
I was hyper. And then my hair started falling out. And something like you said that I never had to think about. Now I had like this big golf ball size patch in my head. And so I just shaved it off and went bald. It's growing back now, and I'm happy about that because my therapy is being able to braid my own hair. So I've been kind of going crazy, not being able to sit with myself and do that. But it's interesting that you say it in that way. Like, you just don't think about it. You take your hair for granted until you ain't got it.
That's true. And because you come off, well, you are cool, but you come off on social media so cool and hip and trying new things, the audience just assumed this was a cool thing that you were trying and embraced it as, oh, that's cool, it's beautiful.
Right.
You would have never known the backstory of why you shaved your head because you wore it. So, and with the colors and all that stuff.
Thank you. I had to make it. I had to make it fun, but it was torturous, just... That has been my identity, not my hair, but being able to braid my hair and being able to test new styles on myself. It's different on a mannequin. I want to wear what I created. So I feel like I'm coming back into myself now that I got a couple inches. I actually was making some dreadlocks today. And I'm about to put it, I feel like I'm back, But then I had to also question, why is so much of your identity attached to your hair? What does that even mean?
It's true.
So.
It is true because... I think just as Black women in general, you think of just the maintenance and the process and all the things you have to do just to be able to get up and go and feel cute for the day.
Right.
So my hair has always been a good length, long or thick, but I've grown inches because it's so much easier. I don't want to have to press my hair every time I go run laps. I want to get up and just do a quick little thing and be out the door. And sometimes I think my daughter or my kids are always like, oh, why don't you wear your hair? It's so cute. And I'm like, am I setting a bad example for never wearing my hair out? But they see it. I don't hide it when I go from braids to a weave or vice versa. And then my daughter, the same thing. She wore braids since she was little because I could not really do hair. Like, I could do the little 2 ponytails. She always had 2 ponytails when she was little. But as she started getting older, I couldn't do much more than that.
Right.
And she couldn't walk around with the little puffs forever. So she wore braids, and she's been in braids for the longest. And then, she's going to be mad I'm saying this, but then her first having her hair out was putting a couple tracks in. And I was like, well, she's too young. But if I was 13 back in the day, I would have loved that because when you're going to school and you're in sports and things like that, you just don't want to have a little nub that you got to keep up with all the time. But I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
But the versatility.
Because I used to have me a little nub. You know what I mean?
But you got to keep up with it.
I had a drawstring ponytail.
Yeah.
But even that, you're worried. Like, if she's playing volleyball, you're worried it's going to rock off.
Oh, yeah.
In 7th grade, I was jump roping and my drawstring ponytail fell off.
Oh. See?
And there's one guy who's the bully of the... I saw that. I'm like,
you never forget that stuff. Or even, like, learning how to, when a braid slips out, tuck it, like, all that. All those little things. But, people are always like, embrace your... Especially once... the movement came out with everybody being natural. It's like everybody don't want to be natural though. Like, don't get mad at me.
I've been rocking and embracing my natural curly and fro, but I like the versatility to be able to put in braids or whatever. But I think for me, what was so upsetting and disturbing was it was just one of those other things that nobody talks about. And when I started losing my hair, it was nothing that I was prepared for at all because it wasn't something it wasn't anything that I had other friends that were going through it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something, my mother's hair has always been thin, much thinner than mine, and she would love my hair. She loved to play in my hair when I was a kid, because she was like, oh, you can do anything with your hair. It's so thick, it's so this, it's so that. And so it was just something that came on that I never thought anything about.
Right.
And I just wasn't prepared. And also, all of the products that are out there that promise to do this and promise to do that. I did go to a doctor, an older black gentleman, a dermatologist, and he just told me, he said, it's like male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
And so you would never say to a man, like all these men walking around that are bald, you never say, just put some black castor oil on it.
Right.
That's not gonna grow your hair back.
Right.
But all of these products that are out there that are pushed towards women, that depending on the condition, depending on alopecia or whatever it is that's going on, it's not going to do. And that's the part that is frustrating. And I just never ever imagined. And the other part that has helped me through this process is my husband. For one,
so
he is very sweet, but we're like losing our hair together.
No, you're not.
And so the vanity, like we were both very, my husband and I have been together since we were 21.
Oh, wow. And
so we've gone through like all the stages, but initially our relationship was very superficial.
Oh, okay.
Very, very like surface.
It was fine.
We was fine. Like, I think you look good. You think I look good. Like that was it.
Right.
We was fine. But we have been able to grow together and go through all of those things. So I was never, it was never a feeling of my husband gonna leave me because I'm there. I never felt that way with him. It was just me, And so I did talk in other episodes about being 50 and free and rocking my natural hair and all that, and I do still certainly feel that way. There's a freedom that comes with age, embracing just everything. There's so many other things that I think about that are going on in the world that are bigger than that. And so just practicing gratitude is something that has helped me to get through it, because there's so many other things that I could be concerned about, even though that is something that's huge, but that is what's helped me get through it, because it was certainly rough in the beginning.
It also teaches you how to connect with other people who are going through it, because before I could ask like general questions when my clients would tell me, oh, I'm thinning here or there, but now I can say things like, have you had your thyroid checked? Is it painful right there? When did it start? Do you smoke cigarettes? Like now I know, because I've been through it, there are other factors that could lead to your hair falling out. You know what I mean? It's not just I'm guessing, I'm saying what I read in the cosmetology book. Right. But like now I can give you a timeline. I can look at a strand of hair and say, okay, so this is a 6-inch strand of hair 2 inches ago. Did you go through a breakup? Because it's a little thin right here. You know what I mean? Because everything we go through, it comes out of our body through our hair.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so enough about hair.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
We can talk forever about hair. Yeah. Okay, so now you're married.
I'm married.
Newlywed.
Right, how's it going?
It's incredible.
In LA, it is possible to find a quality husband in your 30s.
A quality black man husband. That's something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. This year has been one of the more eye-opening years, and people always talk about going through things in marriage, and they assume you talking about, oh, you got cheated on. It ain't that.
Right.
There are so many other ways to grow, and this year, I don't think he'll mind me talking about it, but we've experienced our first big grieving session. We lost he lost a family member. And so just seeing him grow through that and go through that and how he processed, because they always say before you marry somebody, you got to see him
all these seasons.
But I didn't even think about this one. And I know that when people are grieving, they go through different phases. But his has been just like, this year he wanted the house to look like Christmas, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm seeing a different side of him, and you know, people don't talk about the amount of love, yes, you get from your partner. Yes, you get this reflection of you through your partner, so that you can correct certain things that you didn't even recognize about yourself. But also the amount of love I get from his family. Like,
he married his family.
And like his mother is like, okay, there's Jesus.
Wow, you hit the jackpot.
I hit the mother-in-law. Like, she is just a perfect. I swear, this woman only prays and help people. Like, that's all she does.
Awesome.
And so, just
I bet she's a wonderful grandmother.
She's a wonderful, just human to observe, and so people don't talk about that side of it. So it's a lovely place to be. I'm so happy.
You embrace the whole family. It's true. You don't just marry your husband, you marry the entire
everybody.
family. I have a great mother-in-law too.
So do I.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
We are blessed. How did you meet?
Online.
That's
online.
Yeah, that's what we're wondering.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you hear stories.
It's not just swipe. You meet people and then you find out if it's a match.
And we met on so many different sites before we were like, all right, let's go on a date.
Oh, really? Oh, it kept pairing you into
on different like
wow.
like Tinder, whatever other sites. We met on so many different sites, and then it was my last time. Like, if I don't like him, I'm done dating. I'm focusing on my career. That's it. We went on a date. We agreed that we weren't ready for a relationship. We just kick it from time to time, whatever your definition of kick it is.
Yeah.
And then after the second week, I was like, I'm not built for this. Like, I like you.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So
cool.
we need to like work towards a relationship if we're gonna, keep seeing each other, because or we need to cut it off cold turkey, because I can't deal with it.
You made a decision.
I made a decision, and I had never done that before.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid that they're gonna say, all right. But he was like, okay, I guess we should be in a relationship.
Yeah. Sometimes it comes down to that. They just need to be
they're ready
told or asked.
Exactly.
What is it? It's not. We're just gonna hang out.
Yeah.
What are we? And don't be afraid to ask those
questions. Don't be afraid to ask. And don't be afraid of rejection, or don't be afraid of acceptance.
Yeah.
And he accepted, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
I love that, Ashley.
So how long until the engagement? Like, how long did you
We were together for 2 years, and we started planning our wedding, and then the pandemic happened, and so we had to put our wedding off another year. And so we were together about 4 years total, and then got married. We've been married 2 years.
Oh,
that's so awesome.
Yes.
It's so funny. You were saying partner. I had a debate with a coworker. She's 29, and we always laugh at our generational gaps. I always say that I'm your teenage mother. I can be your mom, but I'm still cool with thinking. But she asks me for advice all the time. So she's like, "Oh, over the break, let's get together with our partners." I was like, "Oh, sure." She was like, she just kept saying partner over and over again. I was like, "But he's my husband." And she was like, "But he's still your partner." I said, "He's my husband." Right. And she was like, "But he's still your partner." I said, "Okay, but he's also my husband." She's like, "Well, what's the difference?" I was like, the covenant, the promises that we made in front of the altar. I was like, I'm fine with calling people partner, if that's what they choose. But this is my husband. So, I'm not saying, please call him.
Some respect.
Right. Yeah, basically that's what it was coming down to. But she just kept saying over and over, but he's your partner. He's your lifelong partner. Like, she wanted to force it so bad. I was like, no. He's my husband.
My husband. I sit with so many different people from different walks of life all day. Yeah. And I just have to program myself to say the right words and not step on any toes. And I'm from the South, and sometimes it's hard for us to mold and bend to the new terminology.
Yeah. But that's one of those generational things. Yeah. I don't mind it at all. It's just so funny that she was so specific on trying to get me to say he's partner.
Yeah.
I know.
Those generational things.
I'm very old-fashioned in the sense of all the new stuff that happens. I'm not as even with technology or appliances, it doesn't matter. I'm not like quick to jump on all the new stuff, and so it does take me a while to get up on all the new stuff, especially the lingo. I think
like Riz and the kids have
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
That's the new one. Like he got game.
What's the short for though?
Like charisma, I think.
Yeah, is that?
That's deep.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's the new one.
Yeah.
Landon has Riz. Haven't you heard?
So listen.
That's our son's name. Other girls like our sons at school.
Oh my goodness. My children are the ones that keep me up on stuff, but I think just a lot of the new stuff it's just so annoying. Like
we're getting to those people,
or it doesn't make sense. Like all these little dances, like why are you coming in my face? Like what is that? Like go sit down. And like, what are we doing? Why are you punching? Like what are you doing? So what is that? That's not cute. So my kids are the ones that are keeping me youthful to a certain degree, but I'm still not ready.
So let's end on just the work-life balance, because you have a 2-year-old, but you're still, doing your beautiful art. So how's that going? And how are you balancing it? What's your day? I
just go with what's natural. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have my personal mission statement. I think everybody should have their own to themselves. Like, their personal. And as long as you're fulfilling those, and you feel good about yourself as a person, just do what's natural. Before, when his daycare provider announced that she was taking 3 weeks off, my initial instinct was panic. Like, what we gonna do? But I'm like,
who gonna watch the baby?
Yeah. But I'm like,
because your family's not here, right?
My family's not here, right? Well, I have one sister here, but she's just as busy as I am.
Right.
She ain't got no kids. She on her rich auntie shit. She ain't trying.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
So funny.
So yeah, naturally, I'm like, what am I thinking about? I'll do it. I'll be at home. So I just do what's natural. If I feel like he needs a little bit more attention, I give him more attention. Now he's at the phase where he sees me getting dressed. He knows when I'm about to leave the house. So it's a little bit harder. So now I actually have to consider, is this that important? You know what I mean? But I also have always been very passionate about hair. And I feel like that was my baby before my actual baby. And that has been what has paid my personal bills, before marriage, and it's kept me sane. Right. So I have to also show that some love. Right. So it's just about doing what's natural.
Right. Just feel it. Because you also have the hairline.
I also have the hairline, shop rap culture. And I'm a one woman show still, so I just have to do what I need to do to keep the business running. Yeah. So yeah. Just doing what's natural. Right. And I always think about you.
You do?
Because 2 sets of twins.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
After she had her baby, she did DM me and was like, Nikia, I just had a baby. I don't know how you did it. Let me do your hair.
Yeah. No, for real.
She left me the sweetest message.
How can I help you? Because you just see women and you see mothers differently after you do it yourself. Especially like my mama, like 5 girls by yourself. What is going on here? Like, and to not be like, and I know we're trying to wrap this up, but to not be resentful and hateful toward men like the way she could have been, like doing this by yourself. Like, I don't talk about this a lot. I just met my dad at 30. I met him on YouTube.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Wait, how?
I met him on YouTube. I'd always known his name. The spelling was tricky, but one day I got it right. And like, when I said from teenage years to as an adult, like searching for this man, I wrote Tyra Banks show. I wrote Oprah show. I wrote Sally. After Chili met her daddy on Sally, I wrote Sally at 8 years old. I wrote more. I wrote everybody. Like, I'm trying to find my daddy. And I feel like certain doors open up when it's meant to open up. So I typed his name on every social media platform. I typed it in on YouTube. This man had a whole YouTube channel.
Stop.
Now he only had 12 views.
Is that where you got your phone?
Well, it turns out that he was a writer. And so,
oh my goodness.
So old people go to the YouTube channel, there to his website, phone number, right there on the website. I called and like, hey, I'm your daughter. You know what I mean?
Did he know you existed? Or you exist?
I'm gonna tell my story without telling his story. He's passed away, so I don't want to, say too much. from what I know, he knew I existed, and I'll leave it there. I don't know what happened in the
but you got to talk
meantime.
to him.
I got to talk to him.
Was.
Yeah, I never met him in person, but I did go to his funeral, so I've gotten to meet my other side of the family, my siblings, all that.
Oh.
And then doors started to open. So after I met my father, I felt ready for marriage. Like I felt like
Ashley,
like I felt like I
knew. Ashley, your story.
Yeah, I just felt like I
write a book.
I'm working on it.
You really, you have so many layers to you.
Thank you.
You have to put that pen to paper and tell your story. That's fascinating.
I don't know how I got there, but just like women carrying the load and not being resentful. My mom never spoke an ill word about that man. You know, now that I'm a mama, I'm like, I'd have been cussing that man out every time I change the diaper. You know, so
my mama did.
Yeah, we're so grateful.
But look how you just did different for yourself, you know. Yeah. They always say you have two opportunities to have the childhood you wanted, you know. You didn't necessarily get it as a child, but you give it to your child. So that's a beautiful thing.
Right. When I see my husband being a daddy, I'm like, this is all foreign. Do your thing. Like, and I try to make sure that in my head, because I was raised by a single mother, not to ever think that what he's doing is a bonus, because this is your child too.
Absolutely.
But I'm just so grateful for my son to have what I did not have. To have a partner.
And to let him do it. That's what I always tell new moms, like, he can do it too.
Yeah, he can do it.
He can do
and
it
better
too.
than me sometimes.
Absolutely.
Like, he daddy.
He can do it too.
Yeah.
And
let him throw him up in the pool, high up in the air, all that stuff.
All the boy stuff.
Like, that relationship is there.
He can dinosaur ride.
Dinosaur all day. All day long. That's what they're like, go find your daddy with that. Go find your daddy.
Yeah, go find your daddy with that. Go run to your daddy.
I'm too old for that.
I'm not the one.
Thank you so much, Ashley,
for having me.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're just like a little sister to me, and to see you win like this, and on every level, not just professionally, but you're married, you have a baby. I'm very, very proud of you. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Ashley.
Kudos to you. A whole podcast. And a very lovely, y'all can't see, but it's a very lovely Christmas tree over there.
Oh, thank
you. Right.
Yeah, we're making our way. We're worldwide. Woo. We got Switzerland, Venezuela, Chile, East Africa. A lot of listeners. We're just now getting on YouTube, so this is going to be like our 4th or 5th YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to make an announcement that find us on YouTube, because we only got like
I was watching the YouTube video.
We don't know where we are. So find us on YouTube now. We're there.
Full videos of episodes.
The very first episodes aren't up. Those are hilarious. So you got to go old school and listen to the audio.
Yes, start from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah,
from the beginning.
It's fun to do. So till next time, you can find Ashley where?
At Hair by Ash Nicole on Instagram or hairbyashnicole.com.
If you can get an appointment. And if you do, you will not be disappointed.
Thank you.
Peace out. Bye, guys.
Bye.